We will call the meeting to order. If you would stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Ms. Revoladi?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. Okay, we are all here. All right, moving on, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the October regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Were there any questions or corrections? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Ms. Revoladi?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes, motion carried. Okay. Moving on to accommodations and communications. I do not see Cooper or April or Mike here. But at this time, before we go on, I would like to ask Mr. Alan Helser if he would like to come up, please, and tell us about the very unique item that we will be
You want me to
approving.
stand here?
Yeah.
We got a special camera that'll shoot right on.
On camera.
Yes.
First of all, do I have a 5-minute time limit?
You're good. You go right ahead.
No, I'm not.
We don't have an hour, but.
Until the bell rings.
This is really exciting for me to be here. And to say the pledge, and people really saying the pledge. And I appreciate, I don't know all of you, but appreciate what you're doing on the school board. It's not an easy job, and it takes a lot more time than people realize. And I just want to say thank you for the citizens out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple of you, I know pretty well, but you won't maybe hold that against me. But anyway, this is kind of an unusual thing that I've been holding on to for 35 years. And keeps telling myself when I walk by it in my basements in 3 different houses that I need to get it on something and give it to the high school. Kind of an unusual gift. Walked in, I had, you probably have never had anything like this at a board meeting before. This is a piece of baleen out of a bowhead whale. In 1985, I got permission to take leave from the school, and my family and I had a chance to go to St. Lawrence Island, Alaska. If you go up to Nome and go 100 miles out in the Bering Sea, there's a St. Lawrence Island, closer probably to Russia than it is to the United States. And there are 2 villages on there that are Siberian Yupik Eskimo villages, about 500 Eskimos in each one. And we had the privilege of working with them and working on a Bible translation and doing some other things up there. So we were up there 1 year, came back and taught 2 more years here to high school, and then I thought we were going with the Bible translators on a permanent basis. We went up 1 year and found out that Robin could do a lot here in the States, or, well, not up in Alaska, but down here anyway. So we came back. And I had a chance to go out with these Eskimos, and that was an honor because a lot of people, they come back and they say these Eskimos are terrible because they're living off of whales and seals and this type of thing. They're wonderful people, and they're just making a living off of what they do. And when I left the boat captain that I went out with, I will make this very short. The boats are about 18, 20 foot long. They're still covered with walrus skins like they were in the late 1800s. And basically the harpoons and everything else are the same as they were in the late 1800s, beginning 1900s. And so the boat captain and I was with, at the going-away present, gave me this piece of baleen, and it's actually scrimshawed on there with kind of a whaling scene. And the boat captain that gets the whale, he gets certain parts of the whale, and there would be like 200 of these plates. And this came from about a 50-ton whale. They figure it, as they get bigger, they're about a ton a foot. And so this is a huge whale. The picture that I brought is just about a 10, 15-ton whale, small whale, and they got it up on the beach, and then they could just eat everything. Quick story. When we came up to the whale after he died, or he was killed, the Eskimos, they take a big knife and cut about a square foot out of it, about 6 inches into the whale, through the tough skin. And the custom is they cut off slices of this, and then they all eat it and give thanks for the whale.
Wow.
And so, of course, being there and a guest on the boat, we had they gave me a piece of this raw skin and blubber, and it wasn't bad, but I brought some of it home and I tried to froze it over a long time, and I gave it to some other people and they didn't like it. But anyway, so Steve and I talked, and we said, you know, can we donate this to the school? And I know it's an odd gift, but it's something that I think maybe the kids would enjoy seeing. It is a very unusual piece. You see them in some museums in Anchorage and some other places, but you know, as you can tell, I go on for hours, but I need to quit.
No, you're fine.
So thank you for, hopefully you'll accept it. And then Steve and I were talking, you know, we'll see where it could be put, or if the board has any ideas on that too.
Was that all one piece originally?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
okay.
about, well, then I had to cut some other, it was
Yeah.
8.5 foot long.
So when you use the word baleen, I'm assuming this is the skin?
No,
No.
this, yeah. These all line up, that picture,
Yeah, you
they
see-
line up inside the mouth.
Inside the, okay.
And they go along and their mouth is open and they get all the plankton and all the stuff in their mouth. And then when they close their mouth, you can see it's actually all of this is made up of hair. And so when the water goes out, the hair filters all the little plankton. And so, I mean, it's crazy to see a 50-ton whale. And there are about, did I say, about 200 of these plates that are in the mouth of the whale.
Wow.
So that's the mouth in this picture.
Yeah, yeah. That, like I said, yeah, that's all the baleen. You see this whole thing up here. Each one of these little pieces are baleen that are in there. And the kids just go wild on the beach when these.
Wow.
Any other quick questions?
I just wanted to thank you for this idea of donating it to the high school. And because when I first walked in, I thought, what bird is that from? I actually thought it was a feather of some kind. And in a sense, it is, but it isn't. So it'd be wonderful to hear children say, well, I think it might be this, or I think it might be that.
Have you thought about how you're going to display it? What classes would this be really applicable for?
I mean, we were just talking, I'd like to put it, if we could, I'd talk to Corey and see if we can put it up high in a hallway maybe, so all the students can see it.
That'd be
If it
great.
goes in one of our rooms, then students that we might not have. So I haven't asked Corey to see, but I'd like it to be a little bit more than just a single room if we could. Maybe a science hallway, put a placard on it so they can describe.
If you can put the picture.
I was gonna say, can you,
really
don't
help.
separate the
Yeah.
put the picture on the description to that.
Yeah, you'd have to know what you're looking
Right,
at.
yeah.
Yeah.
The descriptor plate.
My question is, if it was over 8 feet tall, how did you get it back?
We actually kind of perforated it and folded it over.
Oh, really?
And bring it back, but I should have brought a couple other little things, but, you know, I knew I didn't have much time to talk to them. You guys have lots of business, but
We're good.
thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
absolutely
Thank you.
amazing. And
And I
we
think
can't
it's,
say thank you enough. I mean, the kids are just, I'm enthralled. And I know as the kids explore and see this, the questions that are just gonna, that they're gonna have is gonna be amazing and great discussion. I mean,
If it's possible to put it in the hallway, up high around the science building, or science rooms,
yes.
I think that would be wonderful. That would be above my expectations.
well, and for me, even beyond this, thank you, 32 years as a science teacher from 68 to 2000.
Yeah, my last 7 were in the middle school, and they tested me a little bit. First year I was back, it was the worst year of teaching I ever had. There were 32 kids in 7th grade science, and you're trying to have them all interact. And
In a lab.
I'll make this my last little statement, but I had walked by some teachers' rooms and thought, this will never happen to me. My kids will always behave. But that year I came back and had those 7th graders, oh, they ran me through the mill. And then last 6 years, I loved them. I had, 7th graders, I had more fun with those 7th graders. Thank you so much. I'm gonna
No,
stick around
thank
here
you.
for, till about 6 o'clock, I guess, and
Perfect.
just
Yes.
listen to
You
the
can
meeting.
leave at any time.
Absolutely. You're good. Thank you. Thank you
so
for
much.
bringing it up and.
Steve, you're gonna have to be up to
Recording.
speed on all of this now. When you get
No,
questions-
research.
I'm gonna make sure before I hang it, I know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
You gotta do the story
Right.
That's right, yeah, yeah.
The scrimshaw doesn't show on that very well, but anyway.
That is,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Thank
thank you, thank you. That was awesome. Ah. All right. We have no board items for discussion, so we move on to additions and deletions.
We do have some today, obviously some last minute things. So I see 5 additions there. Expiration of a term of office, we wanted to add, it came from the Career Center. And we, on a year, when the expiration of the term for the Career Center comes up, they oftentimes want us to kind of move forward with that. We have 2 modern office methods additions. I'll kind of explain that when we get there. We have 1 resolution for participation in the OFCC Classroom Facilities Program. I'll get a chance to talk just briefly about that when we get there. And then 1 addition for a substitute custodian. So we do have a number of additions for this particular agenda.
Moving on to superintendent's reports in our district update.
Yeah, so I have a number of different things I just kind of want to bring up. The first is the calendar review. This is a yearly requirement that we have from the ODE. Yearly, we have to have kind of a calendar review, really telling you kind of what we're thinking as we move forward, but also reflecting on what we've done in the past. And then 30 days from now, or in our December board meeting, I hope to bring back a calendar to you that will kind of move us forward. We're getting started a little bit earlier. Sometimes we've done it in December, and when we sneak into January, people get a little bit ouchy with us because they want to kind of know what next year brings. So again, this is a legislative requirement. It requires us 30 days prior to adopting a calendar. We hold this kind of a public hearing of the calendar. I always include this in our slides together. It's the hours of instruction. What's required at K-6 is 910 hours. At grade 7 through 12, it's 1,001. They do provide some deductions for parent-teacher conferences and teacher in-service, really 24 hours there. So you're seeing right here, this is the actual minimum number that we're to have there. Down here, this is the actual hours of instruction we actually provide. I'm sorry, yeah. So this would be the minimum. This is the hours that we provide. So you can see, you know, at the elementary, when you're over 1,032 hours, and we know we have to have 86, you know, it's about the equivalent of 22 days above the state minimum. Now, we've always been above the state minimum. We don't want to go to the state minimum, but this gives you an idea of some flexibility we have relative to that. And then just as a reminder, on calamity days and delays, you know, the board has generally said we'll excuse the first 5 days. We have a remote learning plan for days 6, 7, and 8. The board could come along at any time and say, because of extenuating circumstances, we might, you know, forgive one of these days, because quite clearly we meet the number of hours that we need there. When you take a look at this current instructional calendar that we're in, our students' first day was Tuesday, August 19th. Which is a little different than in the past. It's usually been like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Teacher's first day was Wednesday, August 13th. The last day is Thursday, May 28th, with the teacher's day being Friday, May 29th. When you take out the 30 minutes of lunch, which we have to exclude, at the K-5 level, our students are having an instructional day of 6 hours and 30 minutes. At the high school and middle school, 6 hours and 50 minutes. Couple calendar highlights there, you know, and there are things that we've been doing for a while. We like to start on an abbreviated week. We don't want to start on a Monday and go 5 straight days. We kind of try to make it a half a week just to kind of get into the groove. And we generally start with some staggered starts. Kindergarten, we do a little bit of a staggered start. We do sometimes with 7th and 8th grade, starting 1 day later, and then grades 10, 11, and 12 starting a day later. Typical parent-teacher conferences, your typical holidays, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, winter break, Martin Luther King, President's Day, and spring break with Good Friday and Memorial Day. This past year, we front-loaded our in-service and PD to 4 days, and we have 4 teacher work days. Some things we always consider every year when we take a look at this is when to begin school. It feels like for some of us more veteran or mature individuals, we wait until after Labor Day, but that's not the case anymore. We start generally in the middle of August. How many in-service days we're going to have? Thanksgiving a break has traditionally been, you know, during that Thanksgiving time period. But over the past 4 years, we've added an extra day on Monday, which, by the way, I got a call from the Columbus Dispatch asking me if we had always done Mondays after Thanksgiving. And I shared with them that hasn't always been the protocol, but you know, now we're supposed to kind of follow the Career Center and some of our adjacent districts, so we have joined into that extra day. Winter break has traditionally been two weeks. Spring break generally is that last week in March. And then, of course, when to end school sometimes kind of depends on where Memorial Day sits. And this next year, quite frankly, it sits really, really late in the schedule. Other considerations, we look at both union contracts. We work with both unions on this. I know this is kind of the first look at this, so I'll be meeting with MVEA here in December, and we'll kind of iron out some little details. We have some transparency rules, and we have to have what's called a compatibility or a cooperation agreement, and we work closely with our Career Center to kind of make sure that happens. The Career Center has already approved their calendar for next year. And so it's here on the right. I know that's a little bit hard to see, and I didn't intend for you to like really scoot in and look at it. But what I've done is I've taken the Career Center's current calendar and how we kind of went ahead and started to slowly develop our calendar. And everything in green matches exactly with what the Career Center's calendar currently represents. Everything in yellow is a 1 day plus or minus of where the Career Center is. It's probably the closest, at least in an initial draft, of a calendar that we've been with the Career Center as we move forward. This is kind of our draft calendar that we're going to work with MVEA on. As you take a look at this, I've made some highlights over here, but again, all those areas that were in green perfectly match the Career Center. And then 1 day plus or minus on a few of these others. But you're looking at a start date of August 19th with a staggered start, so that's right in the middle of August. Our Thanksgiving break corresponds right away with the Career Center. Again, kind of that Wednesday through Monday, with Christmas and New Year's being on Friday next year. It really kind of lines itself up to a good 2-week segment there for us. And at least in this first iteration, we have May 26th as the last day for students, which again is just 1 day minus. The weird part is with Memorial Day being the 31st, traditionally we would have graduation and then we bring our students in for a couple days after graduation. But with this being so late, we have to decide, if we really want to have graduation over the Memorial Day weekend, which has worked well for us, or do we, bump it up a week, like a lot of our districts do? And if that's the case, do we do any fluctuation with the end of school? So all of those things are just kind of in consideration. And we wanted this to be the month that we kind of brought that first kind of iteration to you. And then we'll bring back something more specific later. Any thoughts, questions, comments? Yeah.
On the Memorial Day on the 31st, is with the union contracts, is that considered a paid holiday for them?
It would be.
Or how I just wondered if there are, they're off anyway.
It's listed in the contract as a paid holiday in a weird sort of way. It could be outside of the work calendar.
That's what I mean.
But it's still part of their 186 days that we include in there. Yeah.
My other reaction was the spring break really looked early, but Sandy's retiring, so I don't care.
Ironically, Good Friday sits right here, which is the 26th. And so when you can kind of combine your break and add the Good Friday in there, it makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah.
The only other question would be the graduation or consideration, I would say, because I know a lot of the county schools do their graduation that Sunday before. And
could we be
does
doing
that
it around the same
conflict?
time?
Yeah, out of the other.
That is a consideration I can look at with the other county schools. I know one graduates, I think Centerburg on a Friday.
Yeah,
And then
Fredericktown.
somebody else does, they do some different things, so,
Yeah.
if we would move it up here to the 23rd,
Right.
Which I get why we would do that,
Mhm.
it wouldn't correspond here, but I don't think we want our students going
Right.
to school in June
No.
necessarily.
Oh, no.
So,
Yeah, no.
I think you're gonna find some other districts might even graduate the week before that,
Okay.
so we'll take a look at that and see
Yeah,
when the
just
days come out.
And students probably would not like going the whole week because they typically have gotten off.
Correct. Yeah.
I think the teachers may
Yeah.
have.
Generally, your seniors would go, I know it's really hard to see that, I'm sorry, but they would generally go, the seniors would go Friday here, and then they would have their graduation practice,
Yeah.
and then have graduation
Right.
on that
Yeah.
particular day.
Yeah.
So. Oh, interesting. So what we'd like to do is, wanted you to get a chance to see that. We'll meet with MVEA. We'll put some finishing touches, because inside of this, and there are some other contractual issues, making sure we have a certain number of staff work days and parent-teacher conferences and all those days. So we generally will take the number of student days, subtract out the teacher contract, which is 186, and then that lets us know how many days we have in here that are, non-work days for staff and how we incorporate them. Okay, great. This next one is one we actually will probably bring back to you in December. It's a cell phone policy. And so it felt like we've already kind of dealt with this at one point in time, but the reality is we did a really thorough job and did a thought exchange. The governor said you've got to have a cell phone policy, and 2 years ago we went to the point of doing that. And this is the policy we came up through that, and generally speaking, it got a lot of positive comments from the community because it felt like, you know, we were able to kind of work at this together and not just say this is the way it was. And so when you looked at this, at the elementary level, there were no cell phones to be used 9 to 3:30. We understood that. At the middle school, it was really the same thing, no cell phones to be used, but we did allow for students to check their cell phones in their lockers between class, make sure mom or dad didn't send them a message or something. And that's worked out really well. At the high school, we decided to provide them a little bit more flexibility, and they were able to use their cell phones between classes and at lunch. And we have had no problems in 2 years relative to the policies that we have in place. Unfortunately, the state legislature came along and, you know, Governor DeWine, and they said, well, we wanted you to have choice 2 years ago. We're taking that choice away from you now. And here's what you need to do. And so I've included here just really briefly, and you have a link to this if you want to get on. This is what they would like it to be. And it's basically a very simple policy, 6 items. I would say the storage and the discipline we fall right in line with. The exceptions we understand. I think it's this applicability part that we become a little bit different than they do. So, and then along the way, policymakers like OSBA and NEOA, who are the 2 primary policy, they started policies in the summertime. And we decided to wait because there was discrepancy between what policymakers were reading into the legislative language, and the biggest difference was defining the instructional day. Policymakers did not define the instructional day in the law. However, because they realized they didn't do this, the Ohio Department of Education said, well, we'll go ahead and define it because we know what we want it to be. And so that's why I've got this highlighted there. And so basically what's happened is ODU has interpreted the instructional day to be anytime you're in session, where policies kind of let you have some flexibility to say, well, let's determine what is instructional time. Is transition between classes instructional time? Is lunch instructional time? And yet they gave a caution to say, just make sure your board knows that while that's what the law says, here's what ODU really wants you to interpret, but yet boards get to kind of help make that decision along the way.
Wonderful. That's perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So we're making the most or not.
Yeah. So I did do a little bit of a cross comparison with where we're at right now with what ODU would want, right? So at the elementary, we're fine. Our current policy would fit perfectly in line with what they wanted. At the middle school, quite frankly, we're perfectly in line with the exception of, and I put it in yellow because I thought that was a caution. I didn't think it was a stop, I thought it was a caution, right? They may check their phones during the 3-minute transition time between periods for parent communications. That's not to go get on their cell phone and text their friends, and for not that 3 minutes is all that long to do that anyway, but that is kind of that kind of caution area. At the high school, again, during all instructional time, we don't allow cell phones. We do allow them, just like the middle school, during these transition periods, and we also allow it at lunch. Now, I would absolutely say that they were really clear about the at lunch, and some would say they were even more clear that you couldn't use your cell phones during transitions. Using them and checking them, now you get into splitting kind of hairs there a little bit. So when I brought this up to our middle school and high school administration, I think their druthers would be, it's working, let's leave well enough alone to some extent, but we don't want to violate whether it's the law or ODU or how we interpret some of this stuff, realizing that once we go to maybe that really restrictive policy, anytime somebody would have one out, they would be subject to some sort of reminder, discipline, progressive in nature, which is quite frankly going to take, a considerable amount of time.
Time.
Take somebody's time.
There still are exceptions to the policy, which if you're a diabetic with health and you need to check your phone for sugars, that's there. Actually, if it's in an IEP, you can use it. And there is one little carve out that is in the law, but ODU doesn't mention it as specifically for educational purposes. Obviously, there may be some districts out there who aren't as blessed as we are to have Chromebooks for all of our students. So could a teacher say, you know what, I need to use a cell phone for a math class or a science class because we're adding up the charts and stuff. So there is still that caveat in there, but you have to really identify it and put it into your plans. They did allow an exception for emergencies. So if we happened to be in a lockdown situation and you needed to communicate with parents, then they said, it's okay, but put it in your emergency operating plans. So there's a lot of these little fine kind of gray areas that, have us just kind of wondering what we need to do. We purposely waited to see what was going to happen as time went on, but by January, we have to have a new policy in place, and we have to post it and make sure that
Do we have to have a new policy in place?
I would say we would put ourselves in a little bit of a tricky spot, especially when you start talking about the lunch piece. Do I think that we could have a real conversation about quickly checking your phone for a parent, I'm picking you up right after school or something? I feel like that could be something we could try to justify more, whether it fits their definition. I guess the cell phone police would have to come and have a conversation with us.
The question I had was, what about smart watches?
Well, and I did put this down as a cell phone policy, but they actually call them PCDs.
So they do.
They do include them, yeah. And we have a lot of kids who wear the cell phone watches. Now, I don't see a lot of kids going, okay, I'm going to type away, Now, you can't answer it and go, hey, Mom, what's going on? And so we have had that kind of come to us, and so then what do we police all smart watches? It just feels like, I understand the intent of it. I feel like we're meeting the intent of kind of taking it away from them primarily, and definitely during what I would call instructional hours, even though it's been defined differently. I probably would say we would have to maybe at least get rid of the at lunch, even though I think it's worked fine during that time. It really is up to the board with whether how we want to address the instructional day.
Versus instructional time.
Right.
And you say that this has been pretty successful as it is at the high school.
I would say that both principals believe that this is not a primary focus for them, right? And so once we have to start confiscating phones and putting them in pouches and doing all that, it becomes quite a policing thing. So I think that would be the case. So by our December board meeting, we're going to have to approve a policy at some point. I guess I would encourage you to maybe just look at some of the information that you see how you interpret it, and how we should kind of move forward. We will have to make it public.
We do have a policy in place right now.
We do. It's just that
And if we
policy-
didn't make a change, our policy would still continue.
Right.
So we do have a policy.
We do have one in place, right?
Is there any mention of exceptions or anything that we can apply for, or?
They mentioned the exceptions, and they're actually in our policy, our original policy, the exceptions are
About
listed.
emergencies and things
Yeah,
like that?
it just,
I mean,
ODU is
exceptions to the
describing-
overall plan where.
yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I think I know how they would interpret it. Their interpretation would be a pretty clean cut. from 7:30 to 2:35, no cell phones, period.
But the,
But it's their interpretation of the law. It's not the law.
I guess that's up for interpretation.
That's what I mean.
I think when the legislatures actually did the law, they weren't descript about the instructional days, so then they left it up to ODU to send something out saying, this is what they meant.
but the children can have their cell phones in their locker.
They can, and you can let them carry it on their person. You would like for it to be off. I mean, obviously, the temptation when you carry it on you is a little different, which then puts us in a situation that, you know, we have to navigate that if they happen to get on it when they're not supposed to be on it.
Is OSBA and others giving guidance to districts? Or are they just basically saying follow ODU and move on?
Well, right here is policy guidance that came from one of these makers in 2025. It says, although the new law does not further define the term instructional day, other laws provide some guidance as terms to its meaning. Lunch and breakfast periods as well as extracurricular cannot be counted towards minimum hours of instruction. So when I shared with you the minimum hours of instruction, well, that's not in the instructional day.
But they barred lunch,
But passing between classes.
and it's clearly not an instruction
Right.
time.
It's just lunch that was taken out, right?
It was just lunch that was taken out. Yeah, lunch was taken out. So they've got, it's just interesting. So they're basically saying here as policymakers, we interpret it this way. I know you've got something another way. Contact your legal counsel. That's what they basically say. And I did contact our legal counsel, and you know, I think they would read the interpretation. It's just best to be the whole time, and we just have to deal with it. So anyway, I think that was really pretty much it. Questions, concerns, or comments? We can look at that.
We could stay on that slide.
We can stay on that one forever, because what we're doing, quite frankly, is working.
Right.
I think actually we're creating a problem. We're not.
Absolutely.
I think.
Anyway.
Yeah, because I don't think we're losing instructional time because kids are playing around on phones.
Right,
Exactly.
Right.
So this is another one of those legislative kind of actions, right? And then finally, we'll end on a good note. We'll move right forward.
There we go.
Winter holiday concerts, get ready to go. Whoops, I hit the wrong one. I wanted to. So the winter holiday concert schedule, look at the dates here. So you're going to have a 2-week period of time here when we return from break. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Almost every night of the week, there'll be something in the way of concerts going on. And that link is there for you to look at as well.
Thank you.
If you want to write it down, I'll leave it kind of hang up here for a second.
If it's linked,
It's
I think
linked.
we're good, yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Dr. Bennett's going, I'm going to leave it up for Dr. Bennett. She's got her nice little calendar there, and it's nicer to look at it right now than it is to.
Seems like we were trying to add a work session somewhere too, so I'm having a moment.
Yes.
And we're already to,
No schedule pressure there.
the times are what I was concerned about, because sometimes it'll say 6:30 and it really starts at 7
locations
or vice versa.
Yeah.
Treat us at 6.
Out of 6:30s.
Yeah.
Out of 6:30s. So.
Thank you. I got most of them, but not.
Well, that's it for my my items for information. I will say, as we move on to recommended items for board approval, this is our second reading of these board policies, most of which, if you got a chance to look through them, were pretty minimal. But in this day and age, it feels like we have to just continually update, monitor, adjust school policies that way.
And change some things that we changed earlier.
We're changing back.
Go back, yeah.
And that's just all based on the political cycle that we're in. The last two items in this section is a home community school student participation in athletics, which is pretty standard. And then this third item, this is the expiration of term of office. So Jody Getzman's term expires on December 31st. And they like to have all their folks kind of in place for that January meeting. And I know currently we have Steve Thompson serves the board at the Coder Center, and Dr. Bennett, Mrs. Getzman. And I'm making the assumption is right now their current president, she wants to kind of stay on the board.
I'll do whatever the board pleases, yeah. If someone else wants to take their turn, I understand that as well.
Anybody have a desire?
We'll move forward from there.
God, you're good. This is where we break eye contact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
So I think this, this actually, as you open this up, this is basically asking the board.
So do we need to vote then, take a motion?
Yeah. Yes.
Separately, maybe.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we would have to.
okay, we can do that. So I guess somebody would make a motion
We
to
would
approve
take a
items 1
motion,
and 2.
1 and 2, yes.
I'm happy to make a motion,
I'll second.
Thank you.
since I read all of those.
I think we did too.
I did.
All right, so Dr. Bennett made it and Mr. Workman second. Okay, were there any additional corrections or comments on all of those policies? Okay, hearing none, would you call the roll?
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Golodai?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes, motion carried. And then I would then take, I guess we need to open the floor for nominations for the Career Center.
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Getzmann
Thank you.
and Mrs.
That's all we need.
That's it.
Just
That's all
Mrs.
we need,
Getzmann.
yeah.
Just for those nominations?
I'm still going.
Oh, okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Mr. Ward? Any other nominations? No? Okay. Would you call the roll?
Mr. Golodai?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Abstain. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to curriculum instruction and Dr. Bennett.
Okay, I did want to share just one of the success items, and that was the one on local students exploring manufacturing careers, and this was in Huron Township. And students participated in bands on hands-on experience in manufacturing industry during their STEM day. And some of the entities included Bowling Green State University Firelands campus, Future Plans, the Greater Sandusky Partnership, Magnet, and the Ohio Means Jobs of Erie County. They together sponsored that event. And the students toured area businesses and explored local opportunities in manufacturing. They actually participated in an interactive STEM activity in which they designed and built a mechanical toy, which I thought was pretty clever. And over 120 students were given the chance to be mechanical toy designers and builders during their Magnet Career Camp. And students gained valuable insight and knowledge and received opportunities to connect with local professionals engaged in hands-on STEM. They also learned about the variety of careers available in the Sandusky area. And presenters pointed out that students chose to go into fields in which they're familiar. And this was from another session that I attended where the speakers pointed out that students tend to choose things that they're familiar with. If their parents have friends that are lawyers or doctors or firemen or whatever, they know about that, they've heard about that, so those are the kinds of things they choose, but there are lots of options out there where they may not even know about, and if they did, it might be more suited to what they really like to do. And the reason I picked that one was because I also attended a session at OSBA by Dublin, and they've just done an amazing job. In fact, I wouldn't mind going to see it, actually. But they had an Emerald Campus, is what they call it, and it's, do you know about it already, or you were?
I think maybe, but I'm going to let you finish.
And it was almost entirely locally funded. Their whole school district is almost entirely locally funded. They have a 97% graduation rate. These were just some stats on their school district. And they have something called Journey 2030, which is their kind of their long-range plan. And they created this STEM school, alternative high school, and their main focus is on partnerships, big and small business, chamber of commerce, higher education, and their business advisory council was heavily involved, and also the local economy. And it's called the Emerald Campus. It's all about innovation. And they have 3 quality practices: developing professional skills, coordinating student experiences, and building partnerships. And it was the partnerships that I found so interesting, because they partnered with Ohio State University, Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati, and they recommended what high school courses and equipment students should experience, such as 3D printers, for example. Riverside Hospital was involved for medical careers. So students got to visit all of these places, and educators got inspired when they went outside and observed all of these things. There were lots of mentorships and internships created, and the main focus was getting credentials, which is the new thing in education. So they have what's called Rise Up credentials, and they can get a variety of points. And one of the things that I hadn't really thought about before was looking at their specific area in Dublin. Not only did they have the Columbus area with factories and so forth, but in their area, Walmart and Amazon must have a distribution center there. They're very big in that area, and the retail industry has the largest number of opportunities for students right out of school, which I didn't know. And that the skills that they learn from the retail industry are transferable to other careers, which I also didn't realize. But they said how students had never even thought about some of these options. And these were called Rise Up credentials, and I won't go into all of them, but if any of you have access to the app for the OSBA conference, you can look up. They had really good slides, and the students get Ohio Means Jobs Readiness skills, and they're embedded in the curriculum. They start marketing this in 7th grade, and we're kind of doing some of that with Chris Keaton's position. And the businesses, he pointed out, really want to partner with education. We think that maybe they aren't interested, but he said they really want to have a say in kind of skills that their students need, and they're very happy to get involved and to support the schools, to fund certain initiatives. And they just had, it was really an exciting session to attend. So.
It's a really neat segue. I went to we had our Business Advisory Council meeting this week, and Chris Keaton was there, and it was a reminder that I really want her to come in and share the work that she's doing, because some of the things you mentioned, the high school has a big initiative right now among their teacher staff. It's called the 3 E's, enrollment, enlistment, and employment. And depending on which teachers are on which of those committees, they will actually go out. They went out during our professional development day. And we had a large number of teachers on the employment group that went to manufacturing.
So we're already
positions.
doing some of
So
that.
we're doing some of that stuff. But to kind of hear what Chris has to share, and she said she'd absolutely love to come in. So I've got to figure out what month I want her to kind of come and share. But we're really doing a lot of things to really try to bolster this area. So it'll be exciting for you to hear it.
I was going to call you and ask if she could come, but it wasn't giving her enough time, so I didn't do that. I'll let her know at the last minute. That'd be great. I'd like to hear
Awesome.
that.
on to fiscal services and
Okay, excuse me, I don't have a voice. If you want to scroll down, Bill, you can see there's our cash. Obviously, the amount's going down a little bit because we're spending the money. We'll be getting more tax money then after the first of the year. So that'll go back up. This next line, the next page is the SM5, SM2. The first two lines there, the general property tax, the tangible property tax, and also the line 1.050. As you probably all well know, those are all going to change. But I can't tell you how because nobody knows. So, probably not in a good way. So the next 5-year next forecast has to be submitted in February. So I'm expecting that there'll be some definition at the state. As you know, we did lose money through the actions of the commissioners with the piggyback. So that's going to be about $500,000, half of it this fiscal year and half of it at the beginning of next fiscal year for 1 year. Now, we don't know what's going to happen after that. So the truth is, for public schools, we don't have a whole lot of control over the top half of this page. We can only control the bottom half, the spending part. So I don't see any big changes coming to that, but you know, as the year goes on, we'll let you know. We did have the capital outlay there was a little high, and we were doing some checking on that and found out that some of the building budgets were using, that some of the buildings were using some money for equipment, which I hadn't anticipated. So those are fine. We'll probably have to raise that line a little bit because that money's in equipment instead of supplies. Usually they use their building budgets for supplies, but there were a couple of them that were buying some equipment, so that's why that's a little higher. If you want to go on down to the next page, this is our investments. We are at $359,000. That's through 1/3 of the year. So we did move some more money over into the meter account. We looked at the money and we were going to be fine for the rest of the fiscal year. So we did move another, I think, $3 or $4 million over there. So it's going to be making some more money.
thank you.
And then these are the balances for all the different accounts. Donations, we have one to the district from Pat Porter, 30 winter hats, to Dan Emmett from the Lions Club, various sizes of pants, to Dan Emmett from the Mulberry Street Church, clothes, candy, and gift cards. Also to Dan Emmett from Mary Holm, headband and some ear warmers. And then, as we know, from Mr. Helzer, the very generous donation of this beautiful piece of art and science.
Go on, say it.
Everything
Boleen.
else. Oh, it's baleen.
Baleen.
I looked it
I was
up.
just-
You said baleen, but when I looked it up, it said baleen. Now, which is it? You should know.
Baleen, that's.
I thought you were right. Anyway, yes, I think everybody appreciates it. It's beautiful. Very nice of you. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Bless
It was a
guys.
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I would entertain a motion for the fiscal services
So
and
moved.
donations. Thank you, Mr.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Workman. And again, Mr. Helser, thank you so much for your
Yes.
Most generous donation.
Well, thank you.
Your legacy lives on.
Absolutely, it does. Continue.
Good to see you.
So thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Mr. Workman,
Yes.
Ms. Regola,
Yes.
Dr. Bennett, Mrs. Jackson.
Yes, motion carried. Moving on to business services and Ms. Regola-Dye.
I won't go through all the bills.
Oh,
Thank you.
why not?
There's a lot pending.
A lot pending. House Bill 129 will go to the governor for signature. It affects property tax levies for school funding. It allows districts that approved a substitute levy prior to 2026 to renew the levy as a fixed sum levy. Then HB 186 would cap tax growth for districts on the 20 mil floor to inflation through a retroactive tax credit that provides funds to reimburse districts for losses in 2026 and 2027. This bill is also going to the governor for signature. HB 309 and HB 335 also relates to taxes and will go to the governor's desk. These will also, there were also multiple bills introduced in the House and Senate dealing with education and taxes, of course. And I think that's, everything else is in that link, all the other bills that have been introduced and what they relate to. And I was hoping I'd feel well enough to go testify against some of these, but I haven't been able to this year. I'm hoping to in 2026, see what we can get changed, if anything. Any questions or anything you want me to say to anybody?
Feels like every time I see this document, there's something new up there.
Yes.
I'm actually interested in what the altered age requirement for kindergarten.
Thank you.
is.
I've not heard about, I just wrote it down here.
Yeah, I saw, yeah.
I have no idea.
Who knows? I have no, I don't know what they're requiring. And then there's
Went
also.
big, didn't it?
Yes.
And there's another bill that's introduced that wants to reduce the age for children to be able to work during the school hours later in the evening.
Huh. Oh, yeah, I saw the 14-year-olds,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just curious on this one, I won't spend time, it's out between 6 and 18. A student who is 5 or students completed first grade. Yeah, that's all, it feels like that's old language, but I'll have to look.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that
I don't
later.
understand what the change is there.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of that.
Yes, and then of course we've got all the Christmas tree ornaments coming up from
Yeah.
from the state.
Well, on another note, under items recommended for board approval tonight in this section, we have a facility use request, the YMCA basketball to use Twin Oaks Gym on Tuesdays, kind of November through February. We have 2 items here, they were additions to your agenda for Modern Office Methods. We actually did a contract with Modern Office Methods here recently, but these are a couple add-ons. So while we have our printers or our copiers in the buildings, we also have some printers, like in certain offices that we needed to put under contract as well. So that was done. And then at the high school and the middle school, when they got their copiers, the one piece that they desperately missed was this idea of hole punching. And so we were able to add a small section to each of the copiers that will now hole punch and copy at the same time. And then this item, item number 4 is one I want to just take a second on. So Judy and I received today information from the Ohio Facility Construction Commission, and we've been kind of waiting on their final master plan that they were going to take to their commission report. And it was really important because, you know, 3 new elementaries is certainly one thing in the master plan, but renovations to the high school, you know, what were they going to pay for? What were they not going to pay for? And we kept asking them, you know, when are we going to see this so that we can have an idea if we've got to add things on top of that if and when we decide to move forward. And they kept telling us that they would get this document. Well, they sent it to us this morning, and they want us to get it back to them by the 26th of November. And not only do we have to get it back by the 26th of November, but it had to be in a board meeting. And so we were kind of flummoxed a little bit. We said, well, coincidentally, we have a board meeting tonight, and we tried to contact them today and we weren't able to get a hold of anybody there. The quick turnaround was something that was just a bit of a concern to us. When they sent us the final document, I'll show you what this is here, if I can pull it up. And basically what they're wanting us to do is to say that we're participating in the OFCC segmented program. which we are. And traditionally, they would ask us every so many years, are you gonna stay participating? So I kind of feel like that's what this is, but the fact that we got it today, this resolution has been prepared for you. We ask that your treasurer sign and return this resolution via DocuSign on or before November 26th. Well, today's the 24th. It just seems odd. And then what happens from that point is that's just saying that we're participating. And then they'll take the master plan that they just sent us and they'll prepare it to go to a meeting on January 15th, which will get approved and it gets sent on to final approval shortly thereafter. There's some timing elements that are really interesting there, but it feels like for us to take the next step, we just have to at least take this step. And if we ever get to a point where we feel uncomfortable, we just say, well, we're not. But if we don't meet this deadline, our fear is, when we talk to those folks, is we lose our place in line. And we know that the money has already been passed through this financial kind of process. They'll do another financial one this summer for OFCC. So making sure we stay in line, even though I don't like the swiftness of what this is important. I'll go on to page 2 because I want you to see this. So this is the resolution. So we have to do a whole bunch of whereases and where was. And basically to say that we're agreeing to the information they have sent us. They sent us 217 pages today. Now, a lot of it are things we've seen in the past. It's just like they've developed this big packet of stuff and kind of what's going to happen throughout the process. And so we basically have to agree to the whereases. This you'll find really interesting. So we decided not to do the whole plan, if you recall, because the whole plan would have been for the elementaries, the middle school, and the high school. We felt like that we didn't need to go all the way out and do much at the middle school. It's in really pretty good shape. And by segmenting it, by pulling it out, it still leaves us active that if we come back later and want to do more or add something, we can. So all that to say, this segment 1 is to build 3 new elementary schools, K-5, renovate Mount Vernon High School, 9 through 12, with career tech to be off-site. All right. The allowance also gave us the ability to abate or demolish all the old elementaries that are no longer needed. Doesn't say we have to do that, but it means they'll pay for that to be done, which is important for us. If nobody really stepped up to buy a building or, really that we would have that money there to do it. And so when you look at that, the total project cost was $107 million, of which the state would pay $38 million. And then the local share, that means what we would have to pay would be the $68.8. So they go a little bit further and they said, oh yeah, we remember that we gave you that ELP credit. Remember that credit we got for Twin Oak? And so that then brought that $107 million down to $99 million. Again, the state share was 38, the local share is 61, and that's all well and good. But inside that big master plan, they have what they call LFIs. That's not what we're calling LFIs. They're saying this is what you have to do on top of it. And so inside of that, there are $18 million worth of stuff that we have to do that they won't co-fund. All right?
Can you give us an example?
Like auditorium.
Well, that's different. So
That's not part of that?
that's not part of that.
Oh, wow.
And so
That's what I
the
mean.
best, yeah, let me give you an example. I'll give you an example because it's right here on.
So why are they saying the LFIs are ours? I mean, why
Credit for the ELP.
saying that we have to do that?
That 18 is, that's built into it. We always knew that would be, but they itemize it out saying what it is, okay? That they won't pay for or co-fund. And I'll show you what those examples, because I know where that page sits. So all that to say then, it kind of bumps this back up to 117, of which that's their share, and this would be our share. Well, for us to be at about $80 million, remember in our last meeting, we were talking closer to $100 million. That's where the other LFIs come in. So when we think about the auditorium or something, that's where it kind of moves it more closer to where what we were talking about being able to fund. And then we have to have president, vice president, we have to sign all this stuff, and Judy does that all electronically. But this takes us to the next step.
Tell us again what the 18 covers. I must have missed.
What does this
18
18 million in LFIs, what,
Okay.
What are some
just
examples?
an example.
Oh, shoot. I thought I had it
It's
all.
more like the structural things, isn't it? The wiring and some of
Yeah.
those things that they need to be updated, that aren't.
To bring things up to code, is that what they're talking about? Or?
No, I thought all I did was print these 3 pages. There's actually, in this 212-page document, about page 10 or 11, it shows what this 18 million means. And it's things like, they list all this communication stuff that we have to have in each one of these buildings. It's like 60 million or 60,000. Then they go into fire suppression, which they won't cover, and then that's another number. All of these things keep adding up to about $18 million.
They require
Why
that they
wouldn't they
don't
cover
cover
it?
it? That doesn't.
I know.
Or why they wouldn't share in it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll share with you the bigger document and tell you exactly where you can find this.
Okay.
But again, seeing it listed out, broken out like this, that's what made us begin to ask the questions, because the reality of it is 79, that's really where they said we'd be all along. It's just that they've kind of added what they call LFIs into there that are not co-funded. And I can pull up the actual document if you want to show you either tonight or after we're done. I don't know if you want me to go trying to find it right now. But it is an important consideration that's been built into here, which means we have to add ours on top of that.
So question, go back up so they're saying the credit for the ELP, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it
So
seems
that
like
their
it has to be
state
added
share is
instead of
38.
subtracted.
Why did they not add that
That was
ELP
mine.
into the state share then? All
They
they
reduced
did.
it on
They
our
reduced our share.
They reduced our
reduced
share
our side of
from
it.
68, scroll down.
Because that's
to-
all our money. So if you take 68
Scroll
and
down.
subtract the 7,
Now it's
that took us
61.
down to
Here's the 7.
61.
So they reduced our share.
They gave us the credit for it.
They gave us
Would-
credit.
They gave us credit, but if our
But
whole
it's still gonna
project is
cost
still
more.
gonna cost us 100,
I agree.
am I missing, I'm missing the link. Okay.
I'm on board.
You would think it would increase the state share and not decrease ours, because we're still gonna have.
Well, the difference between, that's 99.8. Scroll back up, Bill.
versus
That's
100.
107. So that's the
Who's
difference.
paying that?
They gave us.
Shouldn't that
credit.
show up though on the state share?
They're just
We're
reducing,
missing
they're
that.
reducing our share.
They could have done that instead.
Yeah.
They could have added theirs and kept ours the same,
It's
but
gonna
they
work.
lowered ours instead and kept theirs the
It still
same.
worked in our favor,
Yeah.
is my interpretation.
Our share went from 68
But
to
then who's
60.
paying for that additional
Yeah,
7
they are.
million?
Then they say you
7.7.
have to add all this, but there's no state share involved.
Right.
That's.
No, that's because that's part of our responsibility.
Right. So I don't see where that 7.6 credit is showing up, other than they're reducing our total project budget.
This is
but
what
it's
they're
not
saying.
Showing up on one,
Our share.
right, we still have the cost.
The project, I understand what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How-
it doesn't help us at all.
It's not,
How does that credit actually, in effect, land in our pocket?
right. I mean, it's not showing that it's,
Well, if we just stayed with this, we would have to pay 68. The whole project would be 107.
I know, but
but now they're saying,
the ELP took it down to 99.
now they're saying the project budget is only 99. Well, the
But is it
project
really?
budget shouldn't change. Should that not be the
I
same?
think the project budget is just simply the state share and the local share added together. So it has shrunk by 7.
Right, okay,
7.6 million.
Yeah, it shrunk.
right.
I know
It
what
still
you're, I
should be
get
the
what you're
107.
saying. You're like the project total.
Yeah, but if you're applying that rationale, that means after the 7.6 is credited, then the state share would come down, which it's not.
It's not.
It's on that higher number. So, I mean, that works in our favor. because we're getting
We don't want it,
credited.
we don't want it to lower the state share.
No, and
No,
it
no,
did.
no.
I thought it would
Increase
increase
it.
the state share.
It could, if you wanted to increase the state share, I don't think you could increase the state share by 7 and then reduce us. You could have increased the state share and kept us at 68,
But why doesn't
and then it
the,
would have just reduced the project budget.
but why are they reducing the project budget, is what I'm
What
saying.
I'm hearing Jody say is the project budget
The
is
cost
really
It
not
should be the
changing.
same,
The
yeah,
project budget total, if you,
Should not
if you forget
change.
about this and just think about a project,
yeah.
the
You're
project
making
cost
it
is the
like
project
Twin
cost.
Oak was part
Correct.
of this
But they've
project.
arbitrarily
That's
reduced it
Yeah,
by some means.
yeah.
Question.
Anyway,
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Weren't they originally going to cover a certain percentage, me in numbers? Wasn't it like
It was larger than.
35?
Yeah, and this is
Percent.
36%. This is about
That's
it.
what that is.
Okay,
That's about
so
36.
if they're still pushing into the 35 or 30, whatever
I think we're just
percentage.
trying to get some understanding.
I mean,
At the
yeah.
end of the day,
But if you
we have
look
to
at
take
the
action on this tonight.
Yeah, and
To just even stay in the ballgame.
yeah, just to stay in the ballgame, I think
We don't have
we
a lot
should,
of options,
we should
actually.
improve this.
Yeah.
We don't, and they did really list out what this 18 million was. I mean, and again, the weird, well, it doesn't, I understand where it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that they pulled it out like this, we never had it pulled out for us
No.
before. It was just always in there.
Yeah.
Now that they pulled it out and said, oh, it's really 61, but we're putting back in this 18, we in our minds always thought it was gonna be about 80. But now they got that. And they,
Without that credit though, that almost 118 would be $7.6 million higher.
Right.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
I think it's in there, just how they put it in
It's-
there.
Okay.
The fact they broke that out separate, I think, is what seems to throw it off.
Yes.
Because that 18 million was always in there, in the total number.
I will definitely pull out and let you see where they identify this 18 million and what they're calling LFI. And I think what they're calling is, they said, you have to have this, you have to have it, but we're not co-funding it.
Right.
When we're talking auditorium, they're not saying we have to have it, we're saying we want it, and you gotta pay for it.
So that's
Yeah.
fully on us.
Yeah.
Decisions, paying, all of it. I mean, the irony is, this 30.
I thought you said though that
No, we
the
don't.
18 million didn't
No, there's
include
no
that,
option.
that that wasn't the auditorium.
It isn't, the auditorium's not in this particular, what they're calling an
That would be
LFI.
above and beyond that.
It's gonna be above and beyond this number right here.
Yeah.
So right now, if we didn't do any extras that we wanted to do, we'd be looking at 79,240,000.
Right.
And then two, if we waited,
Well, if you go back up here, this was an interesting piece here.
It's all the years on
Right
it.
here. Okay.
It was below this.
I just looked at this. Where did I see it, Judy?
What are we talking about?
It was, if we didn't sign it, they couldn't
Oh.
guarantee,
Verse 16.
Well, within
if the
16
school
months.
district is unable, this is unable to relate.
Here it is, the state
within
funds
16
reserved.
months, the
That
state
last.
funds. I felt like there was another saying they couldn't
Yeah,
guarantee
right.
funding.
It says it will be released to fund other school district projects.
Do you see it there?
Yeah, it's the very last. Right there, up, yeah, right there.
Yeah,
It's in the-
last-
if we
it's in the
can't
last
raise the
paragraph.
funds,
Yeah, that's it.
State funds reserved,
Yeah.
It's just if we can't raise the funds.
yeah.
Is there,
Thank you, Joe.
why is such a tight window? Is there?
I don't know.
elements to that?
This really surprised us when we got it today. I called Dan Obrimba, and he was really surprised. Not that a lot of that stuff's gonna change, but just
Right.
the ability to not go in and look at it really
See.
quick.
I mean, when it's over 200 pages,
It was, yeah. And again, I recognize the 200 pages of stuff they've sent us in the past, from enrollment studies to all this other stuff. But I really wanted to get down to those LFIs. I wanted to better understand that. they also put a lot of assurances in there that we have to, that they've set aside money that maybe we won't even need, but they put it in there anyway, depending on if we're mandated to put it in. The interesting part here is the timing. So we've not even decided as a board about moving forward or not moving forward in the timeline we want. What you realize, it does say 16 months. So at the moment of which they approve it, we have 16 months if we're moving forward to raise our share of the money. And that would only be through a bond issue.
Right.
When you look at the procedural safeguards, and Judy was quickly looking at that, we have to make some sort of declaration in January, and you have to go to the ballot commission by February 4th, or you won't get anything on the May ballot if that was our thinking. Well, this January 15th is starting to get so close, backed up into, I mean, we would be silly to put out a bond issue, not yet knowing 100% we're approved.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's going to the controlling board probably at their February meeting, and that's where it actually gets approved.
Could be.
In the 16
Could be.
months starts.
Now, they may come back, and I felt like I heard from them several times that once you get approved at a level, it's just a matter of, but we need to know those things. And to give us 2 days just to get this turned in takes us to the next step. I did ask Dan, I said, at any point, we can just say, you know what?
Yeah, just
We
have to
decided
type
we're
names in. Yeah.
Done with it all.
moving forward, or we're not moving forward. We could decide that, then we kind of get in wherever they put us in line later down the road, if we would actually feel uncomfortable moving forward. So that's a long story, just to say, they want this thing sent to them by the 26th with all of our online signatures.
How not to do business, right?
Yeah.
Without an option, really. I mean,
It feels like that we don't really, I mean, I tried to call them this afternoon, and of course, unfortunately, nobody was there. And I'm thinking to myself, if we had a regularly scheduled board meeting this month, we would already had it.
Yeah.
And then today I would get it, and I tried to pull emergency board meeting for 2 days later. And I would like to believe they would give some dispensation for that, at least give us time to have it, but, you know, we just really are kind of behind the 8 ball here. I feel like we have to take this next step, and then if we feel uncomfortable, we can stop it. But if we don't take that step and somehow they say, sorry,
we'll go back to that list.
okay, all right. So, all that to be said, those 4 items for your approval.
All right. Well, I would entertain a motion for the, for the business services items as presented.
So move.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Second?
Nobody wants to say.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Since my name's going on it.
Any additional questions? Woo. Yeah. All right.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
Ms. Regola-Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes.
That's pretty good, too.
And as it said in there, seek legal counsel.
We're supposed to, all of us we're supposed to sign.
Well, she'll do it electronically, so you don't have to physically, right? Just to-
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
You
to
just
say
need-
how they voted too, so.
Okay.
Say that ahead of time.
Thank you. All right. All right, moving on to no student service items at this time, so we'll move on to certificated personnel.
This might be the shortest certificated licensed personnel staff we've had. 1 salary change notice, and then 1 written notice for unpaid parental leave. The Biermans are starting a family, and so they've kind of coordinated their leaves there. Under section B, recommended items for board approval. We have a teacher on a 1-year contract, 4 substitute teachers, and 2 volunteers. That's the entire section.
Nice.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, I would entertain a motion for the items presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Thank you, Dr. Bennett. Any questions? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Dr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Workman,
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye,
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to classified staff.
No items for information tonight. Number of basic items for board approval. With the 2-year contracts, 2 individuals there. Another 2-year contract at the year 4 and 5 sequence for Caleb Myers. And then thankfully, a whole bunch of more substitutes, because we need substitutes. We do have one retirement. Bill Farrell is retiring, and he'll be retired through the end of December here. And then we have one rescinded contract. So those 5 items for your approval.
I would entertain a motion then for the classified items as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Ms. Regola-Dye,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Mr. Workman,
Yes.
Dr. Bennett,
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to board comments. And Mr. Ward, would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. Well, thank you to everyone that's tuning in to tonight's meeting. I'll just say a quick thing, just to thank you to Mr. Helzer. I didn't have him like some of you did, so I'll leave most of those comments to you. I do know that my wife taught with him those last couple of years in middle school, and I knew of him through that. So
Yeah.
he was a legend already.
Absolutely, yes.
So I want to thank him for getting something like that and getting it in the right place. That's important for him, and so also wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Please stay safe.
Yes.
Not just to
Yes.
you guys, but to all those listening and to our staff. Please stay safe.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Workman.
Not a lot here. Also like to thank Mr. Helzer. You could sure tell how proud he was of that. And to be able to share that with the high school, I think is memorable for us, but also for him. And so I hope it's enjoyed by those who see it, and appreciate that. And I'd also like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, safe time, and enjoyable.
Mr. Regola-Dye.
Thank you to the people who are listening in this evening. I'd like to thank the school system for providing us the opportunity to go to the OSBA conference. I did attend 3 sessions. The first was best practices communicating with your community, and I think we do a fairly good job of that overall, but it was more focused on the law and having open sessions and executive sessions for school board members. The second session I attended focused on student entrepreneurs, which related right to that, what Mrs. Bennett was talking about. And these students, entrepreneurs, are revolutionizing career readiness. And the students presented how their committee, and they have a small committee, works outside of school to shadow business leaders. And this committee actually is in charge of hearing other students who want to join in this program. And most of them are approved. And of course, they have advisors for all of that. But it was really amazing. And all the students are also focused on just communicating to business leaders and presenting themselves in a very professional way. And then the third session I attended was about civil rights guidance and investigative best practices. And it focused on how schools address the challenges that children, teachers, and administration and parents face in these times. And finally, I had a few moments to go to the Student Achievement Fair, and it showcased incredible work that students are doing across Ohio and the teachers. I was able to talk to some students who are on robotics teams that has just been formed, and a teacher preparedness academy. And the students actually are talking about what they want to do in education and what areas they want to focus on. And of course, one of them wanted to be a physician eventually. And then there was an ROTC booth with some of the students and also our veterans. I'd like to thank the community for supporting both Jeff and I in our reelection. We're very honored to be members of this school board. Some of the most professional people you'll ever meet in your life. And it's been a privilege and an honor. And I want to thank the community and thank our parents. They are heavily involved in our school system. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Dr. Bennett.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for their donations. You know, even the clothes that they provide for our kids are so appreciated, and just the thoughtfulness behind it. So I do appreciate that. And wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and also to encourage parents and community members to come to our programs and celebrate with our students what they're doing. And we have a lot of talent in our school district, so we need to come and celebrate that and support the kids. And I also enjoyed the OSBA meeting, and it was very tiring, because we started with the trustee meeting Sunday morning early, and then Sunday afternoon, and all the special sessions, and Monday. So it was a lot of meetings, but they were all good, and I'm just impressed with the quality of our schools that present at OSBA. A lot of good information. So I hadn't thought about thanking everyone for the opportunity to attend, but it is much appreciated, and I do think it helps us to see what other schools are doing and broadens our perspective. So thank you for that. Please come and see our kids.
Well, thank you. Again, I was able to attend the OSBA on Sunday. I went down just for the day and attended 2 classes, right sizing your district and property tax incentives, friend or foe, which was very interesting. So those were enlightening, but at the same time, it also enlightens you to see that we are doing things right in our district. We are doing things right, and that's very encouraging to know that we are on top of these things, you know, and thanks to Judy and to Bill for their leadership in making sure that we are doing those things right. So thank you for that. But it was good. It was a good conference. John Quinones was the guest speaker on Sunday, and that was, he was very good as well, talking about being diverse and how he was treated into the public education, and how a teacher made a difference, and how important it is to be aware of your students' needs and invest in them, just personally invest. And I think we have so many teachers that do that, and that's so important for success in our children. So that was exciting. I also, I saw Dr. Bennett there, and Bill came in for a short period of time and had to attend to other issues. But we were able to go to the Columbia Thanksgiving luncheon on Friday. What a phenomenal event. They did a great job. So hats off to Mr. Thompson, his PTO, many volunteers that made that program. And Dr. Dill, thank you for starting the program. So it was beautiful. It was great. The kids, the food was good. The kids were very respectful, and they truly enjoyed themselves. There were a couple, I was sitting at a kindergarten table, and a couple of the kids were like, ooh, what is that? You know, when they brought the cranberry sauce around, and a couple of them tried them, and I was like, no, thank you. They were done, but they tried it, and so that was fun.
So that was great. And I also want to say on behalf of the board, congratulations to Heather Barber for her statewide physical education award.
Can't believe I forgot.
Yes, what an honor for her personally. And we are so grateful to have her in our district leading the way for our kids and bringing some great incentives and new ideas all the time for our kids. So we're very blessed to have her on staff as well. So congratulations to Heather, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you, Safe travels. Be careful as you're out and about. So lots of traffic this weekend.
And I also forgot about mentioning the middle school and their wonderful Veterans Day celebrations, and breakfast. So that was really nice.
And I forgot to mention, congratulations to our student athletes who signed to go to so many wonderful schools across the country. We're really very, very proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Bill, Judy?
I think you guys have said it all. We wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll come back in December. Right back at it.
There you go. You had mentioned about looking at some dates. Would you like to do that?
I did. We could take a look at some dates now, unless you'd rather me send out a doodle poll. I want to make sure you have as much information. I know as we get ready to go into, December, and then of course the beginning of the year, these conversations we've kind of put on hold that we were moving forward, several months ago. We need to decide whether we're going to move forward on those again. I would say Judy and I had a really, really good conversation with Mike Collins. I don't know if that name sounds familiar to you, but it was one we really want to share and kind of his thoughts and excitement, enthusiasm, if we decide to move forward, what that could look like. And so I know December is just a tough time. If we wanted to, if you wanted us to share in other ways, we could. But we're going to find ourselves at that point where we're going to have to have all of our ducks in a row if we're even thinking about moving forward. So I'm certainly willing to have that, but as we looked up at that calendar, it was all really for those 2 weeks prior to break, we're looking at something almost every single night, starting at either 6 or 6:30. So that either means going at 5 o'clock up until that time, or coming right back after Thanksgiving
Next week.
and having something, let's say like on Thursday the 4th or something like that, a Wednesday or Thursday.
I think a doodle poll would
Yeah, I think that the method you've used and you're referring to works just fine. But given what we saw about the pre-Christmas celebrations, I think you're looking at next week. So.
Making sure we have all the right players as part of that meeting.
Of course.
And that could mean, maybe sharing the information that Judy and I had. It would mean, perhaps making sure we're answering all of our questions relative to the master plan, that Dan O'Brimba might be a part of helping to answer those LFI questions. It might mean David Connolly, who, really is a bigger part of that financial piece. And yet we still have to kind of finalize some contractual things there as well, with the NECRA moving forward. So there's a lot of little ducks kind of flying up in there.
Yeah.
If we could avoid December 3rd in the evening, I'd appreciate it. Have a Kenyon Community Choir final rehearsal before the concert.
Why don't I go ahead and send out that doodle poll? That might be helpful. Judy and I need to just kind of think about what time we would need for that, whether it's an hour and a half or 2 hours at the most, and then see what day might be best to be able to do that. Are you flexible in times? Like if it was a 5 o'clock, would that be an issue for anybody?
It's fine.
Except when we have Career Center meeting.
When's your Career Center meeting?
Thursday.
The 11th.
The 11th?
Okay, that's the week of the performance.
I felt like there was one date on there that didn't have. There was one day that at least wasn't taken.
8th, 9th, let's see, we have the 8th, 9th, the 10th, Wednesday, the 10th.
That's a band concert for the high school.
It wasn't up there.
Maybe she didn't put it up there. So I felt like when I looked at the back of our, I had a radio.
Mount Vernon High School
Yeah.
band.
I had a radio show today, and I took our newsletter and I flipped it over to the back, and I felt like I was pretty confident that we had all 4 days, each of those 2 weeks
Yeah.
taken. So I think we might have missed December 10th up there.
Can you scroll down just a little? I want to see on the 8th. Taking a picture of this for my own sake, just, thank you.
And our board meeting in December is?
The
Oh, it's on a Monday, but
15th.
I think it's the 15th.
15th.
So
Same
15th.
night at East Elementary.
Yeah, that'll be at 5, and we'll just have to, I don't think a lot's on the agenda will get done in time to go.
It's at the high school.
Yeah.
You can just jog over, yeah.
All right, I'll send something out as quick as I can, and if it looks like it's just gonna be a challenge, I'll just make sure I share everything I can, as best I can. A written format or online kind of a thing, and it'll help us move forward. This will be it. Okay. If we have a motion to adjourn,
I'll move to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Yes. We are adjourned.